Good morning, everyone. Let me first start off this morning thoughts discussing the political memes that we see out there on Facebook and on YouTube on a daily basis. Let me just say that my background doesn't bring any validity to the conversation, but it doesn't mean that I can't speak on it based off of the things that I've read a few hours, few days. I keep on seeing political memes being pushed around so that people's ideas can be passed really quickly, and that's what it is. I included a definition in the actual description of what a meme. I sorted the source where it came from. I also provided the articles that I'll be discussing later, and in regards to one of the memes that's coming around currently about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. And this is no way attack against anybody, but it's simply understand that we got to use our brains. We got to use what's going on, and you may have to actually concede some ideas in order to understand that that's how it is until the policy and laws change. And let's admit to ourselves that we ourselves would take advantage of policy and laws that allow us to make a lot of money. But today, let's just define the topic and idea of meme. The topic and idea of meme is a cultural idea, belief, or concept that's being passed in a comparable gene that's close to the definition that I provided you from Webster's. It's coined by Richard Dawkins. Another source actually pointed that out, and it compared to those ideas that can be passed, and it's actually very close to what it should be, because just like our genetics, we can pass our genetics to a lot. Through a few kids, we can affect millions down the ages. So through one little tiny picture that spreads across the internet like a wildfire, we can affect many people as well, changing our mental genetic code. And that's not a coined term. I'm just trying to sit there and sound intelligent, but I'm not intelligent. My degree is in theology, and I was able to get a decent score probably because there was people saying that, hey, we need to pass this guy because he has VA money, and VA money is guaranteed to a certain point. So, not saying I didn't learn anything, but that's how it goes. So for our morning thoughts, we have these ideas that comes around, and I'm sitting there looking at all these memes, and I get emotionally charged by them too, and that's what it is. So I look there, and I look at what it's comparing, and the recent one that I've seen from more than a few hundred people over the different websites is how the 9/11 Victims Fund is going empty, and Jeff Bezos out of Amazon didn't pay any federal tax the last 2 years, which is a little bit misleading. So I decided to play a little bit of a devil's advocate and provide the articles that his newspaper, that is owned by Nash Holdings, which he owns, provides in regards to the subject. Nash Holdings bought the Washington Post for around $250 million. Washington Post is in the news currently because of that little Covington Catholic kid that is standing up, and he was not being disrespectful to anybody, but that's why it's there. So Nash Holdings bought that. But they also wrote articles that support the meme. They wrote articles that explain that the 9/11 Victims Fund is going down, and there's a lot of people that are being affected by that event in our history. And essentially, the fund is getting dwindled down, and they spent billions of dollars over the last 18 years to bring some type of peace back to the families that are affected by that physically and mentally. The whole entire country is affected, but let us just be honest, those of us that were hundreds of miles away from the events were affected only by what we saw on TV, not by the physical smells, the emotions, the memories that we have. Okay, our memories are all media. Those people that were in New York, those people that were at the Pentagon, those people that are at Pennsylvania where their plane crashed, they were affected physically, mentally, and I'm going to go as far as saying spiritually. So, our morning thoughts, we want to sit there and we want to discuss this. The meme talks about comparing the 9/11 Victims Fund is going empty while Jeff Bezos pays no tax. Well, Jeff Bezos, in the article written by the company that he actually owns, explained that his company did pay some taxes in the areas where it needed to, and the company said that it paid taxes how it should and based off of the law. Is that a fault of Amazon? No. That's not a fault of Amazon at all. I'm not an enemy or a friend of Amazon or Jeff Bezos. I use their products and I use what they're doing because technology allows things to get to my door the next day. And guess what? Maybe that's a lack of consistency on my part. If I actually want to stand against somebody and say things should be a certain way, I probably shouldn't use their stuff. But I don't need to stand against people that have made a life for themselves. We want to sit there and say, oh, this fund is going empty and Jeff Bezos didn't pay taxes, but New York City had an opportunity to make a lot of revenue off of Amazon. And Amazon pulled out because of the political backlash by a certain political opponent. And there's other things in there as well. You got to read the articles, and if I have to, I'll update the description on this later with the articles that explain what's going on. And granted, with fake media these days, we have to look at the things and try to look at it from a non-biased perspective. We all have things that influence our lives, views, viewpoints. So let us not actually jump to judgment based off of what we have. And partially I'm doing that because simply I'm talking about how a meme, an element of a cultural idea or belief, is being spread, and it's being spread wrong. So a couple of the people that spread this meme, the few hundred that I saw, would attribute it to the Republican side of people and saying that they should take off their hats and understand that 9/11 was the most drastic travesty in America. The other side that points it off, the ones that are from the left, say, or excuse me, the conservatives that point this off, they say that that is a travesty. We should, take care of our people the way that we should take care of them, but not affect people if they're legally abiding by the law. Everybody has to cry the why me in life. And that's what a meme does. Why me? I'm showing you a comparison of what's going on. It's no longer funny. It's no longer an idea that is going to be for the best of everyone. So essentially, we're spreading propaganda. But who has time to actually read the articles? Who has time to actually go and try to influence the people around them in the proper way? And because nobody really does. With the Washington Post article for Jeff Bezos not paying his taxes, which is just explains everything how it goes. Explained that he didn't have to pay his taxes because certain incentives that were given to him. One of those incentives, and I would love to see someone complain about this. We hear about companies, the companies that reach the Fortune 500 company list, they invest in their people. They reach that because they know how to invest in their people so that their product actually excels better than what they expected it to in the first place. So we want to sit there and go, oh, let's fault them. But one of the reasons why they were able to get such a huge tax break was simply because Jeff Bezos, his company, gave compensation to a certain amount in effectively ownership of the company. So Jeff Bezos decides to provide some compensation to his company in the form of stocks and bonds and in the form of some type of physical thing stating that, hey, you now own this portion of Amazon. Well, if the U.S. government has a law stating that if a company does this and pays in a form of that type of compensation, and that law states that you can basically, not have to pay taxes for that year or get a reduced tax rate, isn't it a thing if Amazon, a multi-billion, multi-trillion-dollar company, is investing in its people? Same people that are going to sit there and complain about Amazon investing in its people and investing in the community around it are going to be the same ones that complain that we don't have enough done by these companies. Just some thoughts. wouldn't you as well sit there and look at the situation and, oh, I have a multi-billion dollar company that I own currently, and I want to expand it, and I want to bring jobs to a certain city, and but this city right here, the city that I want to bring it to, has certain laws that cause me to lose money in the process. So the company then goes to negotiate with the city and say, hey, listen, can we get some type of incentive here, some type of monetary incentive or a tax reduction or something if we bring it here for the first year or so? If that city then makes the legal choice to say yes, that's a great idea, great job, and then that company brings those jobs. In Jeff Bezos' case for the New York warehouse, it's no longer going there. So I'm back. I honestly wonder if this YouTube algorithm knows that I'm talking about things that are controversial, so they cut me off. But it's not controversial to talk about the facts. Maybe I didn't see somebody watching and then they reported me. Who knows? I don't care. So, but if Jeff Bezos sits there and provides 25,000 jobs to people, and over a 10-year period is going to bring $24 billion in tax revenue to the city and to the country, why wouldn't you make an incentive for that company to come there? Why wouldn't you penalize companies that hurt the people that we're trying to focus on? If a company there and all of a sudden goes, oh, we're going to cut wages and cut taxes so that we can save money and save profits for our investors and shareholders, and the wages are cut, and then the people that are working for the company that are stuck in a little bind, would you say, can't move forward, and now they're becoming reliant on the government. We are now creating an issue. But then we want to sit there and complain about a company that's bringing jobs in, and we want to complain about a company that, is on a meme. So let's go over that meme. The meme compares, again, I'll go over it. 9/11 victims fund going empty and Jeff Bezos not paying taxes. Does Jeff Bezos have any responsibility to fill that victims fund up? I want you guys to think about this. When you look at this video in the future, I want you guys to think about this. Does he have any responsibility to fill that victims fund up? Does the people of the United States have any responsibility to fill that victims fund up? We should. We should, because it's the right thing to do. But do we have a responsibility to? Let's just reflect on that for a little bit. So essentially, we're going to sit there and complain because Jeff Bezos is not paying a certain percentage of his taxes and taxes are going free. But honestly, he does not have a responsibility to fill that victims fund up. This is another social justice idea that is going to get spread like wildfire because people believe that the wealthy should have to take care of all of our problems. In the long run, though, they actually are. Yes, there's corruption when you get multi-billions of dollars into your own bank account. But there's also people out there that do effectively with the laws that we've created, influence a lot of people for the better. Amazon. I know Amazon itself does a ton of charity work. They do that because of what's available to them. It's good to go out and help the community. It's a good public relations image. Who really goes out and helps the community in order to, not further their cause? I'm just going to go out and help them because that's the right thing to do. We're all sinners. Who would actually sit there and go out and further the community before their cause? I would like to think that a lot of us Christians do, and I've seen people that are Christian that claim to do this, and they go out and they provide charity to the community around them for no reason at all, just because that's what they're called to do. But I myself, I wouldn't do that naturally because I am a sinner. I'm selfish. So in the long run, when the ends justify the memes with end justifies the means with this meme, it's If Jeff Bezos is influencing millions of people with his products and services and the employment from the company, and that company then with those millions of people and their employment are providing a lot of tax revenue to the government anyway, you would probably want to allow the company to flourish instead of hinder it. And the meme that talks about the right taking off their hats, it's not the right's fault either that Jeff Bezos is not paying the taxes. He's legally not paying the taxes because there's other reasons why. One, he's invested in his people. Two, the tax law allows it to happen that way. And let's also keep in mind, you may see that he's not paying taxes over here, but there's other taxes that he has to pay based on his businesses throughout the international world. So he's still paying a ton more money than the average person in the company is. Our government's going to fall because we have people that want to like legitimately take from people that earned it and give it out to the people that didn't. So, mark my words, if the U.S. government wants to put a tax in there to fund the victims of national tragedies and national emergencies that happened in U.S. soil, I'm all for it because I think we should help those people out. But is that company or is the right or the conservatives or the left responsible for filling up that fund? No, they're not. So it's just what it is. Well, that's my thoughts for this. It's all based on a meme. All this identity politics is going to get it out of hand. And as I learn, as myself, I learn over and over again on where my views and what my views change to. I'm going to be influenced by the things around me, and so will you. So let's take a pause when we see a meme that really gets to our heart and to our soul. Because we may not know what the truth is. It may seem like a travesty for a billionaire not to be paying taxes while families that suffer during a tragedy are losing out on their money. It may seem like it, but it's not. Because we just want to put blame on someone else. So, if I become wealthy, mark my words, I'm going to take care of my people. If a business idea of mine blows up and it does really well, and I'm one of these billionaires in the future, I'm going to take care of my people because that's what you do. Is that natural? No. I learned that I let off of my faith, and I learned that off of people that were successful and did the same. And how do I learn it off of those people? I learned it off of their books, and I learned it off of the talks that they've done with people in the news and in the media. And you can see it. You can see their company flourishing because of the decisions that they made and the boards made with them to take care of their people. When you don't take care of your people become disgruntled. Okay? So, and I guess the people that are disgruntled about the victims fund being emptied, you're allowed to be. But just think first. Think first before you let a meme enrage your heart. Well, thank you for stopping by. I'm going to end this at 20 minutes. Hopefully this helps somebody. If you disagree or you agree or if you think I'm an idiot, comment below. But this is a growing thing. And later on down the road, because we have examples now of people apologizing for their past comments, if I have to apologize, I will. But I'm not going to because this is where I am currently. And I will grow. May God bless you and your families. May you have a wonderful day. I'll see you.